Welcome to Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On with Janice Formichella. I'm Janice Formichella, a breakup coach passionate about supporting others to learn from their breakups, overcome loneliness, love being single, and see the end of a relationship as the beginning of a magical, sexy new chapter in life. I am here each week to share with you the tools that I have learned through my own painful breakups, through hitting rock bottom more than once, and through working with people all around the world to heal their broken hearts. If you are looking for hope and strength to move on from your breakup and resources to enjoy your new life, you are in the right place, and I've got your back. Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the show, Chris Gillis, for the first time. Hi, how are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for having me. So glad we're able to connect.
That's what I like to hear. I'm amazing as well. Today, we have a special topic, one that I think a lot of my listeners especially will relate to. Breakups are never that fun. There's various types of breakups, which we will talk about in a few minutes. There's something about someone coming to you and saying, I don't want to be with you anymore. That can be especially painful. And people definitely push play on this show because they've gone through some sort of bad breakup. Otherwise, why would you be seeking out support? And a lot of that, yes, does have to do with that dynamic. Somebody saying, you know, I'm done. So thank you so much for your willingness to tackle something that, of course, is vulnerable. I don't want to throw that word around too much, but some people might even consider this to be embarrassing or shameful to come on and say, yeah, this happened. When we spoke a couple weeks ago, you volunteered to me that you had been broken up with twice and said that you were willing to talk about it. So what, made you want to tackle something that a lot of people would shy away from telling the world about?
Being broken up with, breakups is inevitable as water being wet and rocks being hard, and just the simple fact that if we at all are to be in a relationship, you have to be broken up with unless you nail it the first time, which hardly anybody does. So it's just the truth to me. It's what happens. It's part of my experience, and it's led me to where I am. And I have no feelings of shame or even remorse. I'm glad it's over. Glad those sleepless nights are over, and not eating and not knowing what's up or down are over.
Chris, you are a dating consultant.
Correct?
So please, in a nutshell, tell my very receptive audience what that means, and then where it's best for them to come and hang out with you online.
Thank you, sweetie. So I am, again, just kind of, I love connections and I love figuring out why things work. I'm at Consultant Chris. You can find me on Instagram, TikToks, the Facebook, and also YouTube as well, at Consultant Chris. And I am a dating coach, dating consultant, do a little bit of everything, and I really just help people figure out how to put their best forward so that they can be competitive and be seen in this very busy, noisy world with so many distractions and things going on, and really just starting to, love themselves from the inside so that others can love them back.
And if you are dating again after a breakup, Chris might be the perfect person to go and work with.
I maybe didn't say in the beginning, but I'm a men's dating coach. I will, if there are women out there, reach out to me and we can chat to figure out if I'm a good fit. And if not, I'll recommend you to somebody else. And so I agree with what you said. Is like, this is sensitive subjects to talk about, being broken up with. And for my guys are guys who are struggling or judging themselves as failing. And there's a lot of, and as men, we naturally carry a lot of shame, and we're not vulnerable to talk about the truth of the matter. So I'm really glad that I can be on here to let guys know who are out there, and there's no shame at all. It is like we can see I just really do own it. It is a part of, it's inevitable. Looking back at my breakups, and um, yeah, it's almost like a badge of honor. Like I said, it's really helped me get to where I've gotten. It's revealed through a lot of, you said it's painful. Absolutely right. It is painful. So I was able to, those breakups allowed me to see the areas that I wanted to grow and improve and really expose what I can do and how I wasn't loving myself. So I'm glad to be on here because every day my biggest challenge, to be quite frank with you, is it's not reaching men who are single and are struggling and lonely and unhappy. It's reaching men who are willing to open up and say, you know what, I want a better path. I want out of here, and I deserve out of here, and I'm willing to admit to another man, extend their hands so that I can grab them and lift them up and pull them out of whatever they feel they're stuck in. So, yeah, in some ways, I think we speak to a lot of the very same sensitive emotions, and there's probably a lot of shame behind, some of the, breaking up or being single or whatnot. And it's challenge. It's tough to navigate with guys sometimes, but it's so incredibly real. Everybody sees it. You're not fooling anybody. Just because you're not talking about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So, yeah, I think as Fred Rogers says, what's mentionable is manageable. And as soon as you can mention it, and which is why I'm here mentioning it with people so they can chat about it.
Yeah, I guess a couple things come to mind. First of all, thank you for being part of the men's mental health movement that we are seeing right now. I think still a lot of men keep things inside and don't get the help that they could use. But we're
Yeah.
really seeing like a turn of the tides with more resources, more people talking about the need for men to get support and more
Yeah.
people there to do it. So thank you. It's so important. I mean, if it can happen to Chris, it can happen to anyone. Okay. He's got a
Oh.
lot going for him, extremely good looking. So really, there is no shame around this. Oh, something that you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago is you said it's a badge of honor. What do you mean by
Mm-hmm.
that, please?
Yeah. The same way that I have some clients who've lost, over 100 pounds, right? And they'll have stretch marks, and they're like, oh man, I'm ashamed of my stretch marks. I go, okay, you can be ashamed of them. And they had the weight, they kept the weight off. And I said, or you can be really, really proud if somebody does notice them, and it can be a badge of honor to show that you have now dedication, you have awareness, first of all, dedication, discipline. You do the hard thing, you get up and you've worked, and it shows that you are a multi-dimensional man and not just somebody who was, born and dropped into easy street, and that you can take those lessons and those wisdom and inspire your partner and others. And the truth is, people generally, and especially women are so amazingly forgiving to guys when it comes to how you perceive our attractiveness. You guys are wonderful creatures. Thank you for being the way you are. Guys, if you're listening, man, a girl, you can easily pop up many, many points on whatever scale is by your character. And I think that, it's not the being broken up with that I'm proud of. It's what I did afterwards. Just the
Okay.
same way. It's like, it's not, gaining 100 pounds that I'm proud of. So what I did afterwards, how did I do there? And that hero's journey is really a powerful story to tell. And that's what I think really inspires women to want to partner up with them and give their trust and say, hey, I can relax into my femininity because this man is somebody who I can be secure around to lead me where we want to go. And he knows he's a guy who shows he can get through hard things, and breakups are hard things.
Yes, they are. And you talked about the hero's journey. And so let's kind of dive into it. You expressed to me that these breakups that you're going to share with us had happened into your adult life, if not
Hmm.
somewhat recently, right? Okay. So before we get into to this, maybe say a little bit about your dating experience
Sure.
coming up to these, and then let's just
Oh,
be raw
Janice.
and talk about what happened.
looking back at it, and I'm a guy. Looking back at it, my brain is maybe a little OCD, maybe a little whatever, but I love for things to make sense. So as we started this podcast off, I go, hold on, this doesn't make sense. Why am I? I thought, guys, I would have been the billionth person to talk about and open up and share things because it's just so truthful to me. But it made sense to where I was because I grew up. I was I had a very codependent style, whereas I learned to attract. But as far as worthiness goes, and this is why, bless my ex-girlfriend's hearts, the timing was off. I just wasn't ready
Okay.
for them. I just wasn't. You could have handed me $1 million. I would have got rid of it as fast as possible. I worked very hard for that, to get that $1 million or to get that amazing girlfriend. But as soon as I got it, I was destined to light it on fire. My self-sabotaging was so incredibly strong that my worthiness wouldn't allow me to hold that relationship in my hands. And it took, it's timing, and I hate it. Gals, guys, if you're out there, timing really, people got to be at the right place at the right time, and I just finally was able to, to eventually get there after repeating so many hard moments. Like, oh my God, I've been on this hell island before. Okay, here again, there's a pattern here. What's going on? I don't want to go back here anymore. So
Hmm.
that's when I started, building my boat out of reeds and sticks and anything I could find to slowly start paddling myself out there. It's been a hard journey. The journey's been worth it, but yeah, I'm glad it's over. Uh,
Let's talk about the first. You said that this happened to you twice, and so you understood that there was is that true?
Might be more. Maybe I was really, really good at it.
Getting broken up with
I
or
got really good at it. Amazing, gorgeous, wonderful women who adored me, absolutely adored me, and wanted me to, be their guy, marry them. And, I would just self-sabotage it over and over again. Couldn't figure out to the point that and we'll chat about it. Yeah. I take ownership in understanding my part in driving these women up a wall so that they had to do some of the not so character positive things that they ended up, ultimately doing.
I mean, you said that it's more than twice, but maybe pick
Oh
an
my gosh.
early example of this or a particularly unique or noteworthy example of a relationship where you had these dynamics and yeah, she said she's out of here.
Like I say, if it's one data point, it's one data point. When they all start stacking on top of each other, it's time to take notice. Mine was that no matter what I do, I'll never be good enough for you. No matter what I do, I'll never be good. Nothing's ever good enough for you. I'll never be good enough for you. And I used that. That was my that was my childhood. Was I'm not happy now, but eventually I will be happy. So I practice that in everything we do in life. From it requires habits. Whether it's gaining weight, well, that requires a habit of coming home, eating chips on the couch for, really being committed to not getting off the couch or not moving, to, mastering playing a violin. That requires habits as well. So both good and bad. And I realized that I had really, really worked these habits of thinking that, of being malcontent and being just like, things aren't great now, but being expectations that always constantly looking forward and thinking things will get better, things need to get better. And then even when things were great, I was constantly looking for more and things to get better. And of course, that's how I viewed myself as well. So the truth of the matter is, yeah, I was very critical, very judgmental on myself as them, very hard on myself. And
Okay.
again, beautiful. And, there's a cost and a benefit to everything, right? It also,
Mhm.
that drive helped me, be one of the first people in my family to go through college and, just kick ass at school and just be this hyper successful, perfect Christopher that I was. I was, the perfect kid, but that came at a cost as well because nothing's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect, and my girlfriends weren't perfect as well, and my communication wasn't perfect. So yeah, it inevitably led to a ton of disappointment. I don't know about you, Janice, but I see people and I see what they're doing, and just because they don't admit it or say it doesn't mean it's not happening. So everybody saw
Mhm.
it, and I know, and I got tired of just leaving this wake of really good women, who were really just invested a lot of time and energy into me, and also myself too, and losing these. spending so much. There were great relationships. I got to do amazing things with them, but ultimately it got boring and repetitive because I was just becoming so predictable. I knew what was going to happen. Eventually I could do there, and I wasn't really checking in with what I wanted and getting clear of what I don't want. So an example, a painful relationship. I mean, geez, which one, what would be
Oh
helpful?
my God. I'm just going to go based on the conversation we had last week. You said that a couple of them had involved some infidelity.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
do you want to maybe talk
yeah,
about that?
yeah, absolutely. And that was crazy at the time, or was that I was a, these aren't the type of women who are, have low morals. So it's almost impressive in a sick way that I was able to drive some of these gals to.
Right. Oh my God.
Again, I hold accountability of it. I see what it is that I represented what they also thought that they wanted because I had so many long-term husband boyfriend qualities. I would break their heart because I wouldn't give them the ultimate thing that they wanted, which was fidelity, which was a long time fidelity. And
Hmm.
because I would be with these people and time would go on, that they were really, really, they call it in poker, just pot committed. They were all in on me, and I wasn't moving and I wasn't being stubborn. And I made choices as a little kid because I was so disappointed that, I would never get married and all of these, all these long-term silly commitments that a, smooth prefrontal cortex 7-year-old kid makes because I was dealing with a lot of stress going on at the time. And so I made these really decisions, and they became habits and ways of thinking. So my actions weren't congruent with my words and how I was showing up, and they would just drive women bonkers because they could see this guy's got so much potential. I mean, yeah, my first girlfriend, 5 years, yeah, she cheated on me. And that just really broke my brain because that was my first. That's such a definitive person, especially coming from like a very codependent, a lot of a very insecure background with a lot of, on off love, growing up from childhood as well. So that, yeah, that was really, really, really hard on me. And I
Wow.
mean, I'm
How did you
talking
come to find this out?
my friend at the time, who would, by the way, this is a fun little spot, who would end up later sleeping with my next girlfriend,
Okay, we have to go there if you're willing.
my best friend at the time. He was the one. I was able to, I took a trip. I, went to Mexico, had a great time. It was a overseas, college experience. And he was just like, he's like, you have to talk to her. And he told me, how to open it up and, how to get her to almost, admit if something happened to make it sound like I wouldn't really care. I guess he was smarter than I. I was very naive, because I was a very pure, innocent guy. And yeah, and I was able to have a chat, and she wanted to share it and she wanted to get it off her chest. And so it turned out why we were living together earlier on, a few months ago before summer was out. Yeah, she was sleeping with one of her classmates, and that just, yeah. Again, I didn't know. And I see this with the guys. I was just so incredibly confused. Nothing made sense because all my trust, what I knew was broken, and my brain was just fried. Which is, I get it, which is normal because who I thought she was, and I was so sure she was, it was so incongruent because to me, oh my God, that just hurt so incredibly, incredibly, incredibly bad, based on how I grew up and the love that I needed as well. So yeah, so it was a lot.
And then, so then you discovered this information, and I'm sorry that happened to you. And then she decided to end things.
I was too, this is the first one. I was too codependent to break it off. It's like, I need time. I need time. And then I got back together with her. Yeah, got back together with her again. And guys, I don't know how you feel this, Janice, but I think it's really hard to She told me how she told me through her actions that she didn't want to be with me any longer. She was like continuously sleeping. Not that saying that it's okay just to cheat one time at all, but I think ultimately because I lost respect for myself, she couldn't respect me back, and I set myself up for failure. And I understood. I understood that. I understood, that makes sense now. But at the time, I thought I was being a bigger man, and I, because I was able to move past and process it and thought and forgive her and understand she's a human as well and find grace. But ultimately, no, I shot myself in the foot, and which then again, of course, ultimately caused more, I'm sure more cheating and breaking ups. And then we finally called it quits. So, and this happened through all my breakups where I was just broken, broken. I didn't want to leave, didn't want to eat, didn't want to leave the house. Chris Gillis, I was offline. I wasn't myself. And the reason, and it makes so much sense because my brain had been so incredibly wired to know, to say something, hear a song and have that connection with that person, or to say something and wait for their retort, or to think what they're going to say. Because, the human brain loves predictability, and it's lazy. It's hard for us to have to navigate everything new over and over and over again. And so when we lose that person sitting in the passenger seat of life with us, it's a complete reset. It's hard for us because what fires wires, and our brain stops, a person's no longer there. And it was really, really, really tough. It's tough, and I understand why. It's just like you pointed out, it's hard, guys, and there's no way around it. It is hard, and there's no sleeping with another girl or losing a ton amount of weight to get back at them so that he'll want to come back, or winning them back,
Oh my
doing
God,
the
no.
thing that they want to do. You get it.
Oh, yes. Before we take a quick commercial break, Chris, can you tell everyone once again where you would like them to go and find you and hang out with you online?
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, you can find me on my website is consultantchris.com.
Consultantchris.com.
Consultant Chris. I know. I cannot believe that URL was available. So
Yeah, totally.
you can find me on Instagram as well, Consultant Chris, and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube as well. And like I mentioned, I am a men's dating coach. So I especially love having these conversations. And I know the V word, vulnerable, is a bad word. And I used to hate it more than you can imagine. So if that resonates with you, we need to chat. And I now realize the strength that it takes, and also what it doesn't mean as well, on there. So yeah, please hit me up if you have any questions, or if you just need some guidance or resources. I can help you direct to get out of that pain as fast as possible. I truly do care about helping good men, because I know that there's so many amazing women who are out there waiting for us.
Wow, I have goosebumps. Thank you. Please, everybody, all the men out there, at least go and give him a follow. I am passionate about the opportunity that a breakup gives us for a fresh start, but it can sure be hard to see that when you're heartbroken, right? I have worked with people all around the world to beat their breakups with my own 3-part process. I've created an ebook that guides readers through each step using practical advice straight from an experienced breakup coach. Click on the link at the top of the show notes and get your copy of the Broken Heart Repair Kit, the 3-step method for beating your breakup, at my special Sex and the Solo Girl release price of just $24.99. And remember, you've got this. Before we kind of go on to giving everyone a bit of guidance, do you have perhaps another story about being broken up with that you would be willing to share?
Yeah. The other story is with the gal who's basically a marriage, 9 years, and she met me. You're going to love this. I was so committed to being single that I would search out, and I would, use my confirmation biased skills, and I was reading all these books. It was like I think it was called The Marriage Myth, and why relationships, it's why monogamy's destined to fail. I was beefing up so that I could defend my position, so that I could tell girls, stop, leave me, just have fun with me. But the truth of the matter is, the signals, what I was giving them, what I was wanting, what I was really enjoying was long-term potential. So it was complete bullshit. What I was asking for, it's what I was saying I wanted and what I was giving was completely incongruent.
Do
So
you
no
think that
wonder
you wanted to like maintain the upper hand by giving women that perception of you?
every relationship in my not just immediate family but extended family, all divorces, all divorces. Janice, I'm like, I'm not. I mean, like I'm talking second cousins, third divorce, all divorces. Nobody could. It's wild, right? So I go, huh?
Right. Whoa.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna. I see how that ends, and I'm holding, these women in who are crying as a little kid who are so their hearts are broken and they're so painful and I'm seeing it all. And so to protect myself, I go, well, okay, not going to do that. Never, not going to get talked into it, not going to fall for that. But the truth is, as you can tell, I am a deeply compassionate person and there's a lot of layers and I love going deep and sharing things. And that's not just small talk, hookup culture, first date. It was completely, yeah, incongruent with what I wanted. So that's why I had all those, books and things like that. I was fighting. And truth be told, now looking back, I was trying to, make sense of it. And also I had to like defend my case. I'm like, oh no, I got to study up on this. So like, and tell girls why, explain logically why, 58% of marriages fail or whatever the statistics was and show them, why it's, logical. And it is. And I understand that long-term relationships, it is all relationships, going deep on anything, investing on anything is potentially very rewarding and potentially very costly.
Yeah.
And when, statistics studies show that if, I would never go to Vegas at 58% chance I would lose on there. So I understood that. So I would just kind of hammer that logic part on there. Of course, I'm not like 58% of most guys and
Oh, I like your confidence.
evidenced by the fact that I'm here chatting about this, I suppose. Long story, fast forward, just long story short, with a long, long, long time, she really, really, really wanted marriage and kids more so than, and she made it incredibly, incredibly, incredibly clear. I'm a good guy though. And she had fears of, well, what if, she's going to be alone? So she did what most women who break up with the guys that I coach, most of their ex-girlfriends or ex-wives, they end up monkey branching, where kind of like Tarzan of their branch until they've got another viable option to swing to and hold on to. So that way they don't fall and they're not completely alone, to make sure that they're, it's like, you don't quit a good job. It's high paying until you got another one lined up. And especially, I know
I'm
I
not
see
like
it.
that at all. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh my
No.
God. Whoa. That's wild. Yeah. That's
Okay.
good. It's impressive. So yeah, anyway, she monkey branch, she had another guy lined up
Oh.
and then but this is the fun thing. We can chat about it
Right.
later and dig in because you're gonna love this. This is a whole we could chat for days. But I didn't find out until we broke up, and I'm doing everything I can to try to salvage and save it. I mean, I am doing every little thing for all the things that she yelled at me about, doing all the little annoying pillows of whatever, not taking the garbage out fast enough, or leaving my shoes this way, or whatever the little
I
things
would
were.
never. Okay, go ahead.
Then I was doing them all and I just couldn't get the Labrador head scratches that I wanted so badly, and she kept pulling away more and more and more, and finally started. And she, during the very sad times, she was a beautiful girl, very, very beautiful. She stopped taking, being her hygiene and her, her self-care had really dropped. And then I saw it as we're still breaking up, her hygiene and her self-care started getting really good. She started working out and running and all these things. And then one of my friends goes,
Oh.
he goes, so are you having sex with her? And love this. I said, I go, oh no, we're not having sex. And he goes, oh, I thought you said she was working out and looking great and shaving her legs and all these things. And I go, yeah, she is. He goes, I hate to tell you this, you're not having sex. And I go, wait, what? And he was right. And he nailed it. And so, yeah, she monkey branched and secured the relationship out and they got physical together while we were still together. And, yeah, and it was, I am, and I see why, and I see why she did. And I see why, it was scary for her as well. And I have compassion, for why she, for her actions, and also most importantly, I had compassion for myself, and I was able to start. Okay, I don't want to repeat that anymore. That was
Yep.
really, really
Mhm.
hard.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Self-reflection is maybe one of the most important things when it comes to eventually getting to long-lasting relationships. And I
Yeah,
think most of us have dating patterns that we could examine. Wow, that is a very interesting story.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, like, what did she say to you when she ended things?
Um, a lot of crying, a lot of, I don't know what I'm, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And or, well, first it was, yeah, I have to do this. Her friends just kind of, they came through. I was gone for a week and on some sort of work trip, and I came back and her friends came through there. A group of friends came, grabbed a U-Haul, and they stripped the house.
Right.
So came back home. The house was empty. She was gone, and it was a wild feeling. And yeah, I was like, well, I have to. I have to do. I have to do this for me. But it was. But there was no. There was never any like words because I was doing everything she said she wanted. So she didn't. I took away all of her ammo.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. So not a I'm not a really biblical guy, but in somewhere in the in the Bible it talks about, and I do think there's a lot of truth to it that a woman's heart can really, maybe a man's heart as well, can only love one person at a time. And I felt that switch off. I know she loved me and cared about me. She felt, and I couldn't figure out why she felt so incredibly guilty because I didn't know at the time that she was hooking up with another guy. But looking back, of course, it makes all the sense. And she did everything she could to let me know, but I was so blind again, just very naive. And I didn't want to see the signs, and I didn't see the signs. So just like whereas my friend goes, "Hey, dude, you're not having sex." She, she is that good slap
Wild.
water
Mm.
across the face. So yeah, it wasn't she? She never told me why, and it was just like I'm not sure. I just have to do this, have to do this, and I was like, why? And then finally, I was like, you know what? We got in one big fight. And she kept saying, I don't know if I want to be with you. I don't know if I don't know if I want to be with, I don't want to be. And I just, Janice, I finally snapped and I said, hey, you know what? I work really, really, really hard. I'm working really, really hard. And I'm not the kind of guy. I'm proud of who I am and how I'm showing up. I'm not the kind of guy that a woman has to be convinced to be with. I said, and if you don't want to be with me, then please, show yourself out. And she did. And she did. And it didn't make any sense to me though, because again,
Mm.
I was Mr. Perfect. Truth of the matter is I was, a lot of it was performative. It was work. It was, in the end, I didn't want to be with her. I didn't want to be with her in that term, but I was also very, very scared of losing her. So in the end, we were two people with low self-worth, who the universe told us, oh my God, you guys are so beautiful. You're the perfect couple. You travel the world, all these things. And so, yeah, don't ever let her go. And all my guy friends, thought we're obsessed with her and how beautiful. So I was like, oh, okay, I better not set this down. So I was afraid that I had scarcely thought that I'll never find anything. And I was letting other people choose and to decide what's good for me. And the child's truth is because I didn't know what was good for me. I didn't really know myself. I hadn't taken honest assessment of myself and who I was. And I still had some learning and growing to do. So I'm so glad it happened. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that she's happy now. And but it had to happen. I'm so
And
glad it did.
as far as you being happy, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about kind of at the end. First of all, what do you have to say? Because this episode is going to be titled Being Broken Up With.
Wow.
So what would you have to say to the concept of rejection is protection? Because
Mm,
I think this feeling or this notion of being rejected is
mm,
what a lot of people might, at first at least, have in their mind that has
yeah.
happened. And as Chris has just said, there is so much more that goes into a breakup or somebody choosing to leave a relationship other than just rejection. I mean, it's been a long time coming. There are a lot of other factors to this, but if that's probably what a lot of people would initially think. So what would you say about that?
Rejection it's what keeps us so incredibly small, especially as men. We are very sensitive, and this skill of being in our heart, it feels so incredibly good, and that's probably why these like you said, mentioned these guys end up love bombing you, and we generally it's harder for us to recover over breakups. for all sorts of reasons. We don't seek out people like you, which is, I'm so glad that you're doing this, by the way, because
And I love it.
they say that, time heals all wounds. And I think that's bullshit. I think it's what you do with that time.
Yeah.
It really heals the wounds. And if you just sit there, continuing to perseverate and make up stories about your whatever the rejection meant, and that's all. I felt rejected in the breakup. Yeah, that is an ultimate rejection. But what I've learned is that rejection is oftentimes the act itself. It's very little to do. The person's not obsessing over you. It's they're obsessing over themselves. There's something that's missing from themselves. And so instead of, being so solipsistic and personifying, thinking, oh, it must be me, I must be wrong, but instead to say, oh, okay, that happened. And what can I learn from that? What was that person experiencing? And the people aren't thinking about us nearly as much as we want to and assume, and our egos, want it to be about us. The rejection, it's very seldom truly about us. In my ex's case, the story I just shared, she had a very deep, unconditional desire and need to become worthy of to feeling worthy by becoming a wife and a mother. That's what she had to have that. And so that's why she did what she did. She wasn't thinking, I'm gonna teach Chris a lesson and I'm gonna, I'm gonna break his heart and by sleeping with somebody else. No, it didn't run through her head at all. I know it. She's a good person. We're not running around trying to hurt other people or by rejecting them. We're caught up in our own insecurities and our feelings and could be physiological, could be our family ties, our work, or whatever it is. And so, but it's when we create these very colorful, dramatic stories, those are the ones that hurt because we tell it to ourselves. And man, there's nobody who knows how to hurt us better than ourselves because we know we know what we're supposed to be doing. We know what we're not doing. And, yeah, so I would just say, so rejection, guys, look at it as it's a learning point, a bit of a piece of information that you can potentially learn from. And when you start and they start stacking up, they go, okay, cool. I wonder what can I do differently? Which, maybe nothing at all. Maybe you love exactly what you're doing. So then it just comes like, okay, well, how can I choose people differently? How can I be more careful of how can I attract who it is that I want to be around differently. Yeah, when we take the stories away from the rejection of behind it, it's really just a choice. It's a yes or a no. And thank you. And it's great to get rejected sooner than later because then we can decide the truth of, okay, well, now what can we do to work on this? Guys, take radical ownership. It's your life. You only got one of them. No one's going to be honest and dig it out for you. So figure it out what it is and own it. And there's a pot for every lid. There's somebody who will be that pot to the lid that you have in your needs and make you feel like $1 million. But you got to first be honest with yourself enough to figure out and identify and speak it out to the world.
I love the concept of radical ownership. When I took my dating hiatus, I was not going around saying, there's no good guys out there. All guys do this.
Yeah.
I went around thinking, what have I been doing to either attract men like this or to form or commit to relationships that are like this? Like, what was my role in all of this? Like, I think I even went back to high school and thought about my patterns.
I know. I love patterns. Patterns are amazing.
Yeah, it was revelatory.
Yes, it's just data. It's a story we make behind that data. But if we not start seeing that pattern over and over, okay, well, how do I keep getting this answer? What am I doing different? What am I doing to get there? And again, like I said, it makes sense. Like, notice how I'm not shocked. There's no big, deep story. I mean, I don't even like saying the word, she cheated on me. I was like, oh, she hooked up with somebody else, because the on me almost makes, like I was victimized. And at the time, absolutely, I did feel victimized, but I understand now it's just an occurrence. It happened. And I learned from it. And I'm glad it's over. I learned a lot from it. And it helped me become crystal clear, maybe like you as well. Now I know to have the balls to exit the relationship that I'm, that I'm not there balls to inquire, well, why am I, saying these, why am I putting up these boundaries and, with women? Is it healthy or unhealthy? What was going on? But it helped me become motivated me introspective to really dig in there and start moving things around.
That is, so is one thing that you've learned. It sounds like you've learned a lot. What are maybe two other things that you learned from having these relationships and the way that they did?
I learned that vulnerability, and we talked a little bit of, we teased it. Not everybody deserves our vulnerability, meaning we only have so much time, so much energy, and that people are ultimately going to respect us based off of how they see us respecting ourselves. And if at the time, for example, I had a open door policy where anybody could come in and sit with me, and I would give my time and energy away and my heart away, and I realized that I was really devaluing it and also decreasing the amount of time and energy and heart that I had for my partners at that time. And I say partners because they were more than girlfriends. I'm gonna just be honest. They were much as I put.
9 years, you said.
Yeah, that's yeah. They were like
Stuff.
5 years.
Something.
That's another like 4 years one. And yeah, these were all long, like, there were many marriages. And I learned that I was, and it sounds it's so bad, but I learned that I was secretly asking them to cheat on me.
Mm-hmm.
I needed it. My ego, my belief of being ultimately being that a belief that I wasn't worthy of not being abandoned was so strong that I would coax and cajole these women to abandon me. And it wasn't until a lot of time of just getting very clear and really, a lot of work of getting over the fear of abandonment that I no longer been abandoned. No one wants to abandon me. I've taken the fun out of it. Taking the fun out of it, and now I'm very secure. I'm not very secure, but I'm way more secure than I was before. I'm a recovering, codependent person, we'll say, but now I don't. I'm not like so. I'm not so afraid of swinging the bat that of striking out that I won't swing the bat. Now I will do it. Knowing that if I do strike out, and if this happens again, what I just told you, the stories I'm going to tell are not going to be the stories I told myself before, because now I know that I've done the work, and now I know, oh, okay, well, it's going to be new data. But before it was the universe telling me over and over again, hey man, there's a lot of things missing, and it's going to show me. And the universe did. It kept showing me over and over again until finally, McFly, the message went.
Same.
That is one of the most frustrating things, is that, especially with these men that drive me nuts, is that they're starting to believe the bullshit that, all women are bad and there's no good women out there, and that it's pointless and whatever. And sure enough, it went from, now there's, millions of men who have this, red pill, men going their own way mentality of that, I'm just giving up, and the game is rigged, right? Is what, unfortunately, what so many people believe. And you know what? If whatever you want to be true, you're you just like me. Remember, I found the books. You can find the books, dude. But is that truly what you want? And it wasn't really what I wanted.
Again, any man out there listening, please go and hit Chris up, learn about his offerings. Thank you again for being the V word, vulnerable. This has really been quite special for me. Before we end, can you please give your words of guidance and wisdom to anyone out there with a pulse who might have been broken up with either recently or is still getting over it?
This is the words of again, I'm a guy, so I'm talking to you, or this applies to women as well. So it applies to anybody out there. If it's been, and I say this because it hurts. Being broken up with hurts, and unfortunately, it's going to hurt. But It's going to hurt for a finite amount of time. And nothing breaks my heart more, Janice, is when I see people who have been down and stuck in pain for the months turn into years. And then they start giving up and checking out, which is checking out of life and checking out of connections and checking out of being seen and checking out of giving love and being love and sharing love. And it's just really dimming the world. So studies show that if it's 71% of people feel better after 11 weeks after a breakup.
Study.
If it's been more than 3 months and you are still feeling like dog shit, if you still feel horrible, if you're still feeling depressed, talk to Janice. Reach out to somebody. What you're doing, it's not healing the same way that if you had a really, really chronic pain and it hurts physiologically, I understand that, you would see a doctor. If it's not gotten better after 3 and it still hurts, then be honest with yourself and do something differently, because the longer you wait, that broken bone, it's going to start to stay broken, and you need to work with a professional, because life is short, and if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your family, because it's hurting them. Do it for the potential partners, do it for the people around there, but ultimately, please do it for yourself, because you only got one life, and if you can't learn to, only you can love yourself the way that you want to be loved, and this is your shot, so don't waste it.
I will not piggyback off of that at all. I will just thank you for being here. I'm really glad to have met you, to have you as a colleague. I'm having some ideas for some more episodes if you'd like to come back.
Let's do it.
Everybody, again, go and hit Chris up on his website. Go and say hi to him on Instagram or TikTok. Everything is in the show notes. And with that, I am sending you so much strength for the week ahead, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.
You're so welcome. Thank you for listening to Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On with Janice Formichella. I sincerely hope that you found today's episode inspirational or useful. I would love to support you on your healing journey. All you have to do is send me a message on Instagram at Breakups Podcast, or email me at breakupspodcast@gmail.com, and I will be in touch to get you started. Remember, if you are struggling with a broken heart, your feelings are temporary. I am sending you so much love and luck for the week ahead. You've got this.